The next one is the Hollenbach carver. So that'll be the next one you see coming around.
Makes me think of that Gwen Stefani song.
The carvers, these are going to carve out the burnish, the parts that you just burnished. So it's going to carve out any excess material. Like if you have any excess up on the custal slopes, we can't leave that there. So that's why we have
So
these.
from burnisher, we go straight to carver. We don't spray to remove that too?
No, because we don't want to get any water contamination in that area.
Before it sets completely, or is
Right.
it already?
You just
Okay.
use the carvers to remove.
Yep, you can use your HVE if there's excess. You just don't want to put any water or anything like that there. Okay. On back. Oh, sorry. You should have gloves on. Mine are too.
So with the T-ball burnisher and the detail burnisher, those used to remove excess as well?
No, those are the ones that help smooth out. They just have different functions on where they work best.
Okay.
But is it the dentist's job to worry about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so after we use the carvers, a lot of times the dentist is going to want to go back in and smooth those out again. So he'll usually go back to a football burnisher or a ball burnisher, and that's it, and then be done. Just to smooth it out again. Either a football or a ball burnisher. Okay. After that, we're going to remove all isolation, whether it's rubber dam, cotton rolls, whatever. Remove all isolation, and we're going to check the occlusion. To check the occlusion, you need to have this. This is the articulating paper holder. And you need articulating paper. It can be blue or red. Blue is typically the most common. If it shows that the restoration is high, which means that if you use the articulating paper and there's blue paper left behind on the place that you prepped and filled, then the occlusion is off. So we have to remove the excess. You cannot use a high-speed handpiece and finishing burr on amalgams. You cannot, because that would create the mercury aerosol, and that would be dangerous. So the way that we remove any excess after we have checked the bite is by the carvers again. Okay?
So would you say?
We would just repeat. If there's any occlusion discrepancy, so after we use the articulating paper, let's say, shows that there's blue right in the center of the occlusion where we just filled the tube. We're going to have to go back to a carver, typically the discoid cleoid. We would go back to that carver and we would remove the excess and then check the bite again. When there's no more blue showing up, then we can go to a burnisher and smooth it back out and be done.
Okay, so you can't use the HVE or the what?
You can use the HVE.
Oh.
We can't use the high-speed handpiece
Oh, okay.
ever on freshly prepped or placed amalgam. Because although it's set, okay, it's set, but it actually takes a full 24 hours for it to get to a final set.
So we use no time speed or low speed.
Well, you wouldn't use low speed anyway, but you can't use a high speed on freshly prepped or placed amalgam ever. Any questions?
Allison, can you think of them like right now?
Sorry, I know it's a lot of information. Also, you would check with floss. Like when you check the occlusion, we're also going to run floss in between, especially if it was a interproximal, because we want to make sure that there is a contact there. Because if let's say that we did do a filling and it was an MO, if that surface of that interproximal area is not closed enough, or if there's too much space, you're going to get food caught in there, and then that can cause some major issues with the gums or bacteria. So you want to make sure that you do have a contact when you're doing that. So you have to have floss again to check the contact.
That's what they did with my permanent retainer because of the glue.
Mhm.
And then they used some kind of like
Floss threader.